Welcome, everyone. For you of those that don't know me, my name's Jeff, aka Mad Hatter Organics, and this is the Growers Exchange podcast. I wanted to start this podcast to get more information out there about different growers, breeders, and industry companies. So stick with us as we exchange all types of grower knowledge. First off, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Autopot USA, for the best plant-driven automated watering system out there. Use discount code MADHATTER10 on autopot-usa.com for 10% off your entire order. Now, let's get started with the conversation. Welcome, everybody, to the 8th episode of the Growers Exchange podcast. Again, I have a super awesome guest, someone that I've kind of been talking to over the past few years, so I've been on her little Instagram live. I'm super jealous of where she lives, how she grows, and yeah, so welcome, Mammakush.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I do live on a lake, so it is pretty special to be living where I am and have access to the lake as
Yeah,
much as I do, even this time of year.
yeah, exactly. I I've driven past your place multiple times, and I've always wanted to live there. I had plans on moving out that way. They fell
Yeah,
through, you know, childbirth and everything kind of
of course. Yeah,
yeah, kind of held me back, so all
yeah.
good,
Well,
all good.
it happens, but that happens for a reason,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess just let's get started with who are you? How you got into the whole medical side of the plant growing, and yeah, anything you want to share.
Oh, fabulous! So thank you. So my Instagram name is Mammakush420. And I've been growing for almost 5 years now. I'm coming up to the fifth year now, and I grow organically. I'm learning so much as I go. I started very basic with the Gaia Green blends and their bloom and their all-purpose. And I'm now dipping my toe into worm castings, and I just planted my first worm cocoons today, so I'm slipping down the vermicompost little
Rabbit hole.
laneway. Yep. And it's been slow because worms kind of creep me out a little bit. So Vermibec worm castings. He's been able to guide me through this and be able to
Nice.
touch a little worm, the little cocoon. I just did it today, so I'm a little excited. But I had right in the palm of my hand, I had the cocoons, and one of them had hatched in the container
Oh,
already.
nice.
And so when I poured it out into my hand to put it into the dirt, it was wiggling around in my hand. And I'm like, okay, I touched it. I touched it. Wasn't expecting to touch it so quickly, but yeah, I touched it.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
shout out to Vermibec Worm Castings for getting me like just over that little fear of mine.
Awesome. Whereabouts are they? Are they local?
They are in Quebec, Canada.
Oh, Quebec. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And they've been just fantastic supporters of Home Grow the Community, which is the team I'm a part of, as which you were on one of our episodes, which you're welcome to come back at any
Yeah.
time, by the way.
Anytime.
We do Grow Me Gardens on Fridays, and on Tuesdays we like to do interviews with either growers or companies that support the growers. And
Yeah.
we'll just sit down and have just kind of a one-on-one interview with them as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking to you, well, probably almost a year ago, I guess, and I was jealous of your location, like I said, of living right on a lake, and
Yeah.
I asked you if you ever just took the lake water and fed your plants with the lake water. Is
Yep.
that something you still do?
Well, yep. So last summer, all of my outdoor plants were all fed with lake water. I actually walked right down, took the jug. I had I got a little guppy, a little minnow. I got caught in my bucket and got watered into my plants. And I did save it. I was able to grab it and run it back to the lake in time. So hopefully he swam away okay. But yeah, he did get sucked up. So, I mean, if he did get mixed in there, it's just some extra like fish
Yeah.
fertilizer, I guess. Yeah, my entire outdoor grow, I watered completely with 100% fresh lake water, right from my
Nice.
front yard, right into the pots. No
Nice.
pHing, no chemicals, no nothing. There was seaweed, there was bits and pieces, and well, not seaweed, but grass or what have you.
Lake weed. Yeah.
Yeah, and and they loved it. It was probably one of my best outdoor grows I've had this
Beautiful.
year. Is
Yeah.
with that. So obviously, I'm doing it next year.
Yeah. Right. I would continue that trend for sure. I mean,
Yep, yep.
there's probably a lot of beneficial microbes, bacteria, like you said, the lake weed and
Yeah,
whatnot, and all the minerals from all the runoff through the
the
glaciers in the
glaciers.
background. Like, yeah, that's
Yeah,
probably super beneficial.
and we are a glacier lake.
Yeah.
So it comes springtime, that water is darn cold.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. All that rock runoff, all the minerals, it's all in there. I've never had it tested, but I could just see the life. You can see the life in the water.
Yeah. Yeah. That's damn. I'm jealous.
Yeah. Well, you need to come out and do a sesh over the summer, and
Yeah.
we'll take you on a tour.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I will take you up on that any day. So you said you were using the Gaia Green products.
Yeah.
What size pots do you use? And what kind of mixture are you using in those pots?
So I use Pro Mix as my base. I use the peat with the perlite and the Gaia Green, and I try to. I'm a lazy grower, so I go from a solo cup to the end product, like the end pot. I don't like to transplant from a solo to a 1 to a 3 to a 5. Like that's too much work. I go from a solo cup to the end pot, which is usually I try for a 10. So if I can get a 10-gallon in there, I'm super happy. I can do. I've done five, sevens, and 10s, depending on how many pots I have available to me, because I only have a few 10 gallons. But 10 is that's the goal. If I can get it into a 10-gallon to flower and to veg out, I'll get it nice and wide. And then as soon as it's filled out the pot and it's starting to grow up, I'll pop it into the bloom room, and then she just gets nice and beefy from there.
Beautiful. Yeah, I would recommend, if you are going organic route, anything less than a 10-gallon is going to be a little more difficult for the new beginner kind of people out there. But
Yeah.
I mean, I run 6.6-gallon autopot setups, and even that, I have to really keep my eye on, making sure that I'm top dressing, making sure I'm
Yeah.
giving those compost teas on time. I 3 to 4 weeks. I'm on it.
Yeah.
If I'm missing a week, I'm seeing deficiencies. So
Yeah.
uh,
And with the smaller pot, you have a smaller battery.
yeah,
With a bigger pot, you have a bigger battery. So you have a bigger cache of food available and nutrients available to the plant to take. So when that was kind of hard for me to kind of wrap my head around the very first time I kind of heard that. I'm like, the biggest battery? What do you mean? I'm like, just 5 gallon. That's all I need, right? And then when I started doing the research and going down, the rabbit hole of all the minerals and everything, and it's like, oh, it's the plant's not going to take everything all at once. It's going to take a little bit here and there when it needs, and the mycorrhiza network in the soil is doing all the networking and telling it what it needs and helping it grow. Like, it was just amazing to go down go down that rabbit hole.
yeah, yeah. I truly at heart am an organic grower. I do salts, but I would much rather do organics 100%.
Yeah.
Now, are you able to do a full seed to harvest or clone to harvest for outdoors in your location?
I am. I
Yeah.
am. We have like a hoop house that I
Okay.
put the girls in. so it's protected from the elements. We have a lot of wind
Yeah.
coming off of the lake, and the winds can be like wicked.
Oh yeah, yeah, I'd imagine.
They can be pretty brutal, and so the hoop house helps just to give it a little bit of protection. It's still getting the airflow, but it's not getting the harsh wind. And we're prone to a lot of rain, and when it rains hard for a long time and then stops. It clears up and it goes away. It's not like a nice little drizzle throughout the day. It's a
Yeah.
torrential downpour, flooding, and then it goes away. So the girls are protected in the hoop house. I do bring them out into the yard to get the sun on a beautiful day. See, I like to move my plants. They're never in the same spot twice.
Yeah.
I'm always moving them, twisting them, bending them, playing with them. But yeah, this last year we were able to get to the end of October. Actually, I was able to pull till the end of October, and then
Nice.
I pulled the last one. So I went right to the very end, and it
Yeah.
was fabulous.
Yeah, last year was a very good outdoor season for your part of the region. I have a
Yep.
friend out more on the west coast, out in Vancouver, and
Mhm.
yeah, he was able to get right to harvest without any powdery mildew, any bud rot.
Yep, it
The
was.
rain kind of held off until the end, so it was
Yeah, we had a fabulous end of the summer and into the fall. I'm like, oh, this is amazing.
yeah,
I'm like, okay, one more day. She can go one more day, right? I'm ready to pull her any day now. But I'm like, oh, weather's good. It's nice and hot outside. All right, she can go.
yeah, 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 kind of a rarity out there.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Yeah. So have you ever tried to, like, I know you say you move your plants around, but have you ever tried to just grow right in the soil itself, in the ground, sorry, instead of having them in pots?
No, I haven't. Our property is very overgrown, so I was worried about the weeds kind of choking them out. So we don't have a nice bedded area yet. It's in the works.
Yeah,
It's in the works, but no, not yet.
yeah. I would reach out to, oh, I think it's called uh, Black Swallow Farms. They're a company kind of like Kiss Organics and Build the Soil
Mhm.
kind of thing. Um, they're out in Ontario, but they also provide or work with a company called Grassroots Fabric Bags.
Oh, yeah.
They do fabric beds, and yeah, they probably have 200-gallon pots that the big fabric pots
Oh,
that you can use. So you don't
yeah.
have to go directly into soil. You can put them into big pots like that, and not have to worry,
Wow.
right? You can do from like start to finish without having to amend or anything.
Exactly. Oh, wow. That would be, yeah, that's the dream right there.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, not amend, but top dress, right? But
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that'd be I mean, that'd be ideal. I have a big kind of a 8 foot wide, 2 feet tall, 2 feet deep garden bed in my greenhouse out back that
Nice.
I don't have to touch at all. At the end of the season, I re-amend to put new stuff in, but
Yeah,
yeah, I don't have to touch it at all. It just I can go weeks without watering it.
yeah.
It's
See, the soil that we have around here is fabulous because the weeds love it. Like I've actually taken like a rototiller to the garden, and I'm like, look, it looks fabulous. I went to bed and I woke up in the morning and the weeds had overgrown it already. They were
yeah,
just that voracious. I'm
yeah,
like, there's no way I'm planting anything in that. We're getting rid of that so I can just lawnmower it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm
Like it
sure
was just,
that all the mountains beside you and the lake beside you, those two combined, it's probably amazing, very
yeah,
mineral
yeah.
rich soil.
Oh yeah, yeah, and we do have a lot of rock underneath us as well. So yeah, we do have a lot of the minerals under there. So yeah, it's it's not something I'm ready to fight with. Is those weeds?
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Not a battle I'm ready to take on yet.
I I'm sure at that point too of like growing straight into the soil itself is uh your water table with having the lake right beside you, uh you know you wouldn't have to worry about watering too much either. the
That's
ground is probably so moist already that you could probably just, let
we
it
do
do
have a
its
lot of
thing.
Yeah, we do have a lot of underground springs actually.
Yeah.
In the springtime, when the water level comes up to a certain point, the underground springs kind of open up, and some parts of our yard get flooded. And we
Okay.
actually have an irrigation where we have, if it gets to a certain point, we have irrigation, and it's just fresh water. We've had that tested. It's pH neutral, glacier runoff,
Oh, I'd be
spring
saving
water.
as much
It's
of that as
beautiful.
possible.
It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And that's not even the lake water. That's just coming from underground that's
Yeah.
coming up. Now that I'm learning all about the minerals and all the nutrients and stuff, now I'm going to.
Yeah.
Before I was like, oh no, I don't, just get it out of here, get that water. It's flooding my property.
Yeah. Yeah. I can only dream of that kind of a day, but I mean, I've got I've got so much runoff from agricultural and the cattle farms and all the rest of the stuff out here. It's just my water
Yeah.
out here is absolutely disgusting. It comes out of the tap
Oh.
at like 300 ppm in the winter, and
Oh.
it's gross. I grew up in Vancouver, and
Yeah.
I was used to that 0 ppm fresh, clean drinking
Fresh.
water right out of the tap,
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
Now I have to Brita filter everything because it's just
Oh.
disgusting.
Oh.
Uh,
Are you well water, or are you city
no,
water?
I'm city water. Yeah, it
City water.
comes out of the
Yeah.
water treatment plant, but it's just gross.
Yeah.
You could taste the chlorine in it, so
Oh,
don't even
that's the
bother.
worst.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that's the worst.
yeah. Well, what kind of stuff have you been learning over the past, say year or so? Like, are you kind of getting into a little bit of the Korean natural farming style, or are you just kind of strictly just learning a little chunks here and there?
Well, I'm learning little chunks here and there because I am stubborn, and I'm very careful on what rabbit holes I go down, because once I go down that rabbit hole, there's no coming back.
Yeah,
So I have to be. I've learned this about myself. So I have to be very careful which rabbit holes. So now my current rabbit hole that I'm going down is the vermicompost.
hmm,
And like I said, I had my worms that I just planted today. I had them touching my hand, and they wiggled, and I put them in the dirt, and hopefully they survive and we get this going. But yeah, that's been my main focus, is learning all that I can, because uh, the conversations that I've had about worm castings, just worm castings, not talking about just the worms, but just worm castings, the benefits that your plant gets from that, just its immediate nutrition for them. And it's black gold. There's a reason why they call it black gold,
yeah.
right? So yeah, so that's kind of that's where I'm heading right now. I haven't tried any of the jadam. I've listened to podcasts, and I'm aware of it, but I'm not quite there yet. Compost teas and worm casting teas, that's also something new I've tried just recently. 420 Organics, one of my buddies in Home Grow the Community, he's kind of walked me through a few compost teas and recipes, and then Candied Amber Farm. She's really good with the worms as well, so she's been helping me with that. So those are my two things that I'm focusing on, that I'm going to master and learn as much as I can
Yeah.
about over the next year.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, worm castings are a huge benefit. I know people that just strictly use just worm castings. They don't amend with any of the dry amendments or anything. They just, a peat mix and a worm casting mix, and away you
And
go.
that's it.
Uh,
Wow, that's yeah. See, I didn't realize that was even a possibility.
yeah,
I knew it was good for the plants, and I've used it, but I didn't understand why I was using it. You know what I mean?
yep,
Like it's good. It's good nutrition. Okay, good.
yeah,
Now I'm learning where it's coming from, and now I have the babies. I have the cocoons that I've just now. So I get to watch them. I get to watch them grow, and then I'm going to be able to take that and then feed my plants and it's just kind of completing that little bit of a circle of being able to take the stuff that I eat and the waste that we have and be able to now somehow feed it to my plants. It's like just so fascinating to me, just
Yeah.
learning all of this stuff.
Yeah. Do you have an actual worm bin, or is it just go straight into your soil?
Well, I had a few of the cocoons, so I took cocoons and I just put them in each four. I had 4 pots,
Hmm.
and I put cocoons in each of them, and then whatever was left over, I'm trying to make a worm bin
Yeah.
out of it. So I just had a little bit of soil in there, moistened it up, put the cocoons in, and buried them, and then put a couple of leaves on top for
Beautiful.
some shade,
Yeah.
and we'll see what happens. And they were already hatching before they were even out of the vial. So
Yeah.
hopefully I don't kill them.
Oh, I'm sure they'll survive. They'll find some food in those, like, all the minerals and amendments and stuff. They'll go and dig in.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. This is
Yeah.
this is a new adventure for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one thing I haven't really got into yet is actually building my own worm, bin and whatnot. But I have a lady just 10 minutes away from me, Roxanne from Trad Worm Industries. She was on let's see, third
Yeah.
third episode. Um,
Oh, she was hilarious. Oh my
yeah,
goodness. She was a riot.
yeah. She's a wealth of knowledge. I can talk to her for hours and hours. But
Yeah, she,
if
and
I
she and
ever,
she could probably talk for hours and
oh
hours as
yes,
well.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, she was a riot. I just loved that episode.
yeah, yeah. She's very outgoing, very bubbly.
Yeah. Oh, she was fabulous.
Yeah. Whenever I need anything, she usually just, here you go, have fun. So,
Nice,
yeah,
nice. It's nice to have that local connection because
yeah,
again, you're closing that loop. You're sourcing as much as you can as close to you as
yeah,
possible,
yeah,
right?
exactly. So yeah, I want to eventually get down that rabbit hole of building my own worm bin so I can make my own worms and castings and whatnot. But
Yeah.
I've got so many projects on the go all the time. Just one more thing to
it's,
add to it, right? So
it's all content. You said it's all content.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm probably gonna have her back on again one day.
Oh,
To
I
to
think you should. She was fabulous.
Yeah, yeah. I want to get down the whole rabbit hole of what microbes come out of the worms, what beneficial nutrients come out,
Yeah.
and how to build your own worm box as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And the more we talk about this sort of thing, the more people will realize that they can take care of their own waste in some sort of way. Like, I didn't want to have to deal with any of the smell or anything like that. But from what I'm understanding with worm compost, there's no smell.
Yeah,
It's so I'm like, okay, well, I can do that. Let's give it a go. I'd like to do my part for as much as I can for the world and my garden and the health of my family and you know
yeah, yeah. So kind of going back to your grow style, also an indoor grower?
I am an indoor grower. Yep, I have
Yeah.
my CMPR medical license,
Yep.
and I have a veg tent. It's a 5x5 veg tent.
Nice.
I have my bloom room, which is a converted like laundry room area. I get the dimensions wrong all the time, so I'm not even going to say the math.
Yeah.
It's a laundry room. Let's just put it that way.
Bigger than the 5x5 tent. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then my spider farmer grow tent, which I have 4 Jorge diamonds going in right now,
Nice.
and I'm just getting ready to flip those. And the Jorge diamonds is the pots that I drop the cocoons in.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So I'm going to be really watching those ones real close because those my little wormies hopefully will be in there. So
Perfect. Yeah. So what are you running for lights?
I have Spider Farmer. I have the SF 1000, and it's the grow tent kit that I
Oh,
have.
okay. Yeah.
I'm running the four Jorges in. In my 5x5, I have Mars Hydro, So I'm not sponsored by Mars Hydro. I have a Photontech,
Yeah.
XW600, I think it is. It's a pretty beast of a light.
Yes.
It's beautiful light.
Yeah, I've
Like,
seen some of your posts there, and does a pretty good job.
oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. So that's in my bloom room. And then I have a couple Mars Hydro TSL 2000s in there as well, supplemental lights, because it's a long room. So I have,
Yeah.
she's the main, the photon tech is the main light. And then I've got a couple supplementals just to get some extra girls in there.
Yep. Awesome. What are you running for, like, environmental controls to mitigate the, temperatures and relative humidities?
So I run the Inkbird controller, and that's been fabulous. You set it and forget it. Like, once it's set, it just does its own thing, and then that's running into my I think it was the AC Affinity. I think we got the AC Affinity exhaust carbon filter,
Yeah.
I believe. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember offhand. Um, but we've got a 6-inch carbon filter in the in the bloom room, and then that gets exhausted outside. But the Inkbird controller, that thing, you just set it, never
Yep.
have to worry about it again unless there's a power outage.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's one nice thing about those controllers. They've sent me a whole whack load of them. I run them all the time.
Oh, nice. Yeah, they are fantastic. I've never had any troubles with them whatsoever.
No, I've only heard of not even a handful of cases of people having an issue with them. Maybe going out of calibration or something. But
Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, that's any product is going to have a handful, right? It's technical product. It's just just same as toasters,
Yep. Yeah.
right? There's going to
Exactly.
be a handful of toasters out there that are not going to work, right? Just the way it is.
Yeah. I mean, like anything mass produced, you're gonna have some sort of issues with quality control.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah.
It happens with everything.
Yeah. Are you supplementing with any sort of CO2 at all?
No, I haven't. I haven't tried anything like that yet. I've looked at the TNB natural bags that you can hang, and I've also looked at maybe possibly growing mushrooms
Yeah.
to add some CO2 into the room, because we've had the discussion about mushrooms in the bloom room
Yeah.
and adding that in. So that's something I'm kind of tentatively dipping my toe in. I'm just learning about that right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole nother rabbit hole.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I have to be careful, because once I dive into something, I go full bore. I will learn everything I could possibly my brain can absorb. I may not absorb it all, but it's going in.
Yeah. I think I share a similar pathway of learning as well.
Yeah, I have to go full in, and
Yeah.
then once you have the basic skills, like, say, like with growing, like, once you have the basic knowledge of, okay, you plant the seed, you give it the light, the heat, the warmth, and you let it grow, then you could start playing. Well, what happens if I knock it over?
Yeah.
Will it come back? Of course it's going to come back, and she's going to come back stronger, and she's going to say thank you, may I have another? And you're going to knock her over again.
Yeah.
It's just, once you start learning the different aspects of the plant and how the plant reacts, and then you start going into the hormones and why it's, and then you can go deeper. You could go you can go cellular, if you really want to go down
Oh
that
yeah.
rabbit hole.
Yeah, I haven't really dived too deep into the microorganisms, like,
Yeah.
the magnification of how many there are and what they are and all that stuff, but I do it intrigues me to learn about those kind of things for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like, you can go as deep as you want to go. and you can keep it as basic as you want to go, right? So I'm just very careful which rabbit holes I decide to go down.
Yeah.
I'm very thoughtful about it.
Yeah, for sure. Are you, I mean, speaking of microbes, are you adding any sort of microbial inoculant, like Microbial Mass or Mammoth P or anything like that?
Yeah, I use TPS Billions. It's a water soluble, and you can actually just sprinkle it into your watering bucket, mix it up, and water your plants with it. It's completely water soluble, or you can sprinkle it on like a mycorrhiza. You can sprinkle it on the roots directly.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can go both ways with it. So which is really nice. So I like to every water I like to give it a little sprinkle and give it a little shake up and add my microbes to there. And I've just recently started adding molasses to it as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So that's something new I've just started as well. So
Yeah, giving a little sugars to the microbes to give them something to eat and something to make them
yeah,
last a little longer.
exactly. And I don't think it's completely necessary with the product that I use, because I believe that they have the sugars already in there, because
Yeah.
you're supposed to just sprinkle it in and mix it up in water, but give it a little extra sugar, a little sweetener up.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never actually heard. What was that company's name?
It's called TPS.
TPS.
Yeah,
Okay.
TPS Nutrients, and it's called Billions,
Billions.
because there's a
Never actually heard of that.
billion, yeah, billion microbes in there. It's yeah. If check out my page, I've got
Okay.
lots of information, because I've been using them for almost, I would say, I think 9 months now. I've been using them,
Yeah.
and fabulous results. I'm
Yeah.
100% convinced that the microbes are working.
Oh yeah, for sure. I use Microbial Mass, and if a day after watering them in, you notice your plants are just, straight up and down, praying to the lights, just happy as can
Yeah,
be. Can't get enough of them.
yeah. Yeah, microbial mass. I'd like to try that one day, but I haven't. I haven't tried that one yet. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's also on my wish list to try.
I know about a year ago they were promoting their products pretty heavily, the Chitosol and the Microbial Mass. Uh, if you hit them up, I think if you email them or go on their website, you can
Hmm.
order a free sample of them. They'll send you some. Even if you're, DM them on Instagram.
Yeah.
They'll
Oh,
they'll
fabulous.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll give that a try, because I would like to. I would like to try. They are a little on the expensive side, so
Yeah.
it'd be able to try it to see the results before you pay with your dollars, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, that's fabulous.
I bought a 250 liter or 250 milliliter bottle, and it was back when they started to come out onto the market, and it was about $100 for that bottle. I
Oh,
think
wow.
now they've kind of dropped down in price. I think they're around $75 for the bottle, so it's not too
Okay.
horrible. Uh, and
Okay.
and that's the pro version, so it's a lot more concentrated, and it goes
Oh,
a
yes.
lot farther than just the normal version that they have. I mean, the normal version's a lot cheaper as well. So
Do you mix that in with your water, or do
yeah,
you?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Once every 2 weeks, I'll water those in.
Oh, nice,
Yeah,
nice.
and it's
Yeah, you
like
can never have too many microbes. I'm
no,
learning
no,
this.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. The diversification of microbes and bacteria and whatnot there is very important for soil biology.
Yeah, absolutely.
I believe that this stuff is like a half a mil per liter, so it's nothing. It's next to nothing. So like
Yeah,
2 mils per gallon kind of thing.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
and you get a 250 ml bottle. It lasts for a very long time.
Exactly. And see, a lot of people don't understand that with products as well. It's like, yeah, there might be a lot of upfront costs, but you're using so little that you're going to end up.
Yeah,
It's going to last you so long that you're not even going to realize.
yeah,
You know.
yeah, yeah. So do you have like a dedicated drying area? Are you just using one of your tents to dry? How do you
Uh,
normally dry?
I'm I'm in a garage. My grow is in my garage, so I have a spot that I can hang it right over the little rafters. Get my
Nice.
little hangers, and my garage stays nice and cool, because, like I said, we have a lot of rock
Yeah.
under us. So in the summertime, the garage stays quite cool, and very like, I just have to keep a nice little fan just underneath it sometimes, but it usually has a nice little airflow in there. So yeah, it's been pretty good so far. I would like to be able to get a dry tent and have like my temperatures dried in, honed in one day. But
Yeah.
for now, just garage is working just
Yeah.
perfectly.
Work with what you got, and
Exactly.
the more you add, the more the bills occur, and yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going through that right now. This was my like first official grow with four tents. Like I've got a little seedling, a 2x4, another 2x4, and a 5x5,
Yeah.
and I'm not doing that again. It
Yeah.
was it was doable, but the prices of utilities is just to run all four
Yes.
tents is just insane. So
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
doing it again.
Yeah.
But
No, I totally agree. If you don't need to, don't do it.
yeah, yeah, I've got a good amount of stockpile on the medicine I need now, so I can kind of tune things down a bit and just go with the one tent, maybe two tents. We'll see. See how
No, probably
things go.
two.
Yeah,
I go two.
probably. Yeah. What's your preferred method of consuming? Just
I'm
normal papers, bongs, glass.
I'm a bong girl. I
Yeah,
like my bong. Yep, I'm a bong girl. I do like my joints though as well. Sometimes in the morning with my coffee, a nice joint
yeah,
is lovely. But yeah, I do like my bongs. Edibles, yeah, take them or leave them. It's I get very creative when I take edibles.
yeah.
So I'll be on my like apps to like make reels and stuff, and I'll just like come up with silly stuff just because I'm high, and that's what I do. But yeah, but bongs are my preferred method.
Yeah. Good choice. Yep, for sure.
Yep.
I'm just a papers kind of guy, so I've always been that way. I've never really got into the glass side of things, but yeah.
Yeah, well, when I was younger, we didn't have like we had hash.
Mhm.
We didn't have anything, or edibles, but we didn't have concentrates or rosin or diamonds or any of these other products at all, right?
Yeah,
Like they just didn't exist, right? So I'm learning all about these things now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I have a concentrate pen that I take puffs off of every once in a while, but it sometimes it gets me a little too high. And I can't go to bed, which I like to do, right? Smoke some paper and smoke some joints and go to bed.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anything coming up in the future that you kind of want to chat about? Anything exciting?
Well, with Home Grow the Community Official, we've been really working on getting some really killer interviews recently. Shout out to Candy Dabber Farms and 420 Organics for really bringing some real cool peeps. So stay tuned for Home Grow the Community Official. It's our community group that we have, and we do shout outs for our grow me's and whatnot. It's all about the community
Yeah.
and celebrating the community, right? So yeah, we've got some really big stuff coming this year with the community. We have our anniversary coming up because we've been we have it's a viewer requested episode that we're going to be
Nice.
having shortly. So yeah, so that's
Nice.
going to be really fun. So yeah, and that's on Instagram.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always important to, uh, you know, give back to the community as much as possible. That's kind of why I started this as
Yeah.
well, so I can get a good amount of information from all aspects, right? The beginners, the people that have been growing for 10, 15, 20 years,
Yeah.
the companies, the breeders, kind of a mix of everyone, right? So,
Yep,
uh,
exactly. And you can hear the same information 10 times, but maybe that 10th time something clicks,
yeah,
and it's like, oh, Right, and it just makes sense, right? So to hear it from so many different points of view, we're all growing the same plant essentially. So to hear how many different grow styles there are, it's amazing to hear like all these different techniques and styles and different ways. It's fabulous to connect with the community and hear how everybody else is doing it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, you never know. We might have just inspired someone to use their lake water to feed their feed their plants with.
Exactly. Oh, I've got an underground spring. Why aren't I using that water?
Yeah.
Yes, you should be using that water.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to I mean, give back as much information as possible throughout, all types of growers and whatnot. It's kind of worked out the past, I don't know, I guess few episodes now that it's all kind of being organic growers, which is
Yeah,
I'm not meaning to go that way, but it's kind of
but
just
that's
been
the
working out.
trend. That's the trend, though. A lot of people are trending towards organic growing because we're just learning how fabulous it really is.
Yeah.
And so the more we keep talking about it, the more people are going to start going, oh, that makes sense, and they're going to start, well, maybe next time I'll grow this way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, I do want to have some salt-based either growers or companies come on as well, share their
Yeah,
knowledge.
absolutely, absolutely. There's room for everybody,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess we're kind of rounding around 40 minutes or so. We cut a little short tonight. It's been a long day, but where can people find you? Instagram, obviously.
Yeah, Instagram, Mammakush420, and then my backup page because we never know when Instagram's going to shut us down. So it's Mammakush 2.0. So those are the only two accounts that I have, and then Home Grow the Community Official is my group of peeps there.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I tune in every once in a while. I may not say anything in the comments or anything, but I do tune in and I watch everyone's stuff.
Well, you're more than welcome to pop on anytime if you want to just pop on and say hi for a few minutes, show off a garden or two. More
Yeah.
than welcome to. Would love to have you back again.
Yeah, anytime. Just shoot me a message. I'll be happy to come back on again. It
Fabulous. We'll
was a
do
fun
it.
time for sure.
Yep, we'll do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I thank you for coming on and sharing your knowledge of
Well,
lake
thank
growing.
you. Yeah. Stay tuned for this summer because last year was my first lake experiment. Now I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, yeah, you're gonna kill it next year. Hopefully, we have the exact same summer as we did last year, and
Oh, that would be fabulous.
yeah, get to the end of October again. Be able to
Or
get
as
to that
close.
Croctober.
Yeah, Croptober, that's right.
Awesome. Well, I thank everyone for listening, for tuning in once again. Sorry I got this episode out a little later than I usually would. I had a couple guests lined up, but they kind of fell through a little bit. But they'll be on, and we'll keep going at it. So, for everyone listening, please hit that like, subscribe, share button, um, leave a review, as much as possible. And yeah, I thank each and every one of you guys and gals, for listening and watching. But until next episode, guys,